This works? Okay, it works well enough. Hey, my name is Marko. I'm telling you a story. 2 years ago, in our company, with our customers, we started asking how AI changes the work. And this talk is about the learning journey that we did. I'm kind of taking you to through that journey. So that's the kind of what to expect. And that said, we started kind of 2 years ago regarding the mindset. So this is actually based on Forbes, some stuff that actually came after we started to work. But it's actually kind of nicely put that how should you think about going AI first. And the red words are the things that I'm going to talk about. So how do we build and how do we operate? And I'm not going to tell you anything regarding how to use agentic workflow or anything like that, but actually how the organization works. So before I can jump into how those AI-first companies work, I need to kind of establish kind of a baseline. And just to be really honest, when I talk about existing companies, not startups, they operate, when we talk about building stuff, it looks like this. This is your vanilla kind of waterfallish approach to product development, right? What is interesting in this picture is not actually the phases. There's the design, development, and deployment. The more interesting stuff is the stuff that happens between. Those are queues. And to demonstrate what I mean by that is that in large corporations, like our clients, these things happen in separation. There's a design organization that designs stuff, right? They may do that with AI or without. But where the stuff ends up is a queue, to be developed queue. And if you want to see that queue in action, go and look at your backlog. That's your queue. And that's typically a really long queue. And there's actually many of them. Now, the development typically, no matter how you do it, it ends up to the next queue, right? And so forth. Now, this is the vanilla version. The real version, in our client organizations, looks like this. This is a real one. So it has the upstream as well. Somebody sells something, there's internal approvals, external approvals, it gets resourced, you have your design, development, and so forth. And when we did Agile, right? Agile transformations, anyone? What happened with that? In most organizations that I see, at least the one that I've demonstrated here, it led up to have Agile in the middle, right? We do sprints in development. Is your budgeting Agile? Is your decision making Agile? Any of that? Right. So the question that we asked 2 years ago in this story was that how AI changes this. Not how AI changes development, design, or any of these boxes. And what actually happens in real after the Agile transformation, if a company starts AI transformation, what they actually do? The things that I see, what they do, is that they take Copilot into one of these boxes and say that, hey, we are going AI transformation. And what happens really is that some queue is going to grow. And hence the MIT study saying 95% of us not getting anything out. Well, GVs. Now, this gets really interesting, right? How do these companies then work? I'm not talking about startups. I could talk about Lovable, Cursor, all those fancy companies. But I'm talking about, we were trying to find a single company that has tried to fix that previous picture with AI-first mindset. And luckily we managed to find a few. I'm taking first the outside-in view, so let's look at their results. This is SpaceX. In SpaceX, one interesting outcome that they have is that they have cutting down the cost per seat to get to space quite drastically. They are like far beyond anyone in their domain or industry. Same goes for Tesla, and same goes even for Neuralink, even though I don't really know who is competing with them. Anyhow, so these companies are operating interesting ways. This is where we started. Then I started following these people who are in these companies working in there. And one of the guys that I started following 2 years ago was Nick Cooper. Nick Cooper was, and is still, kind of reporting what they're kind of doing. And one thing that everybody kind of probably noticed was that they got this rocket to the fog. And it was like, hey, great innovation. But nobody talked that the next launch was a week after. These are FAA-regulated devices that you just don't shoot to the space without regulatory body to actually approve it. And just the logistic part is interesting. And that got me questioning, are there any changes on these rockets? Are they just shooting the same rocket over again? So I followed this when we were also experimenting all these things in our software development projects, which I get very fast soon. 1 month later, Nick Cooper and Ted Maska, but Nick Cooper was saying that, hey, we are doing actually 6 launches in 6 days for 4 packs. So it's not that they're done, they're actually improving on this. And then I found out that Joe Justice had written in 2023, way beyond Gen AI, to be like mainstream, that they do 1,000 changes to these rockets. And these are hardware and software changes in 69 days. People deployed with regulatory bodies and all this. So this is interesting, right? So what will a Finnish engineer do when they see this result? That's not what they do. That's one of the things that they can do. What they actually do, or what I did, was I called to Joe Justice and said that I want to know this stuff. How do you do this? So I called Joe Justice. He didn't respond, but I got finally him to respond and say that, hey, I want to learn this stuff. What do you do? What do you do different than everybody else? So I called Joe and basically asked, how do you do it? Long story short, I draw the same picture to Joe, and he said that, well, we do something like this. So we have these teams that are cross-functional. I was like, yeah, we heard about this story many times already. Cross-functional teams. 20 years we've been talking about this in the software domains or software industry. So front-end, back-end, data folks, design, da. They're like, no, we do cross kind of value stream. Like, okay. So we have these teams that are get-it-done teams. And they have this interesting thing in there, which is kind of AI data, whatever you may call it. And they have 50,000 people doing this. Now gets the interesting part. Because when I see this, so these are like, okay, you are in coordination chaos, and your whatever, scale, agile, PI planning, whatnot you have, right? No. That's exactly what they don't do. They have situational awareness through this data and this AI. And that's where the billions go. If you wonder where the Elon's billions go, that's where they go. They put half of their profits to this infrastructure. Now, when I saw these pictures, when Joe was showing these pictures, because Joe was kind of sparring us when we were doing our development project with ISS, Joe was showing these pictures, and I was like, oh yeah, I know that picture. There's people stand up 15 minutes, and then we go back to our silos to do our work, right? That's the sync up, daily scrum, whatever you may call it. And once again, no, this is all they do. They don't have any meetings because they work together all the time. There's no reason to have a meeting then. Now, did that as well. So this is the whole training, if you want to learn the Tesla way, or whatever you want to call it, on team level. You have all the brilliant minds working on the same thing at the same time, in the same space, on the same computer with AI. This is the whole value stream, doing everything together. And we tried this for 9 months. We call it CollabAI. Tesla doesn't call it anything. People who have left Tesla call it MobAI. The reason why I don't call my thing MobAI because we don't have those billions invested in the infrastructure. So we do this with the ordinary tools that every one of you are capable of accessing. These are our results. I'm taking just one out of these results so that, because I have limited time, but I'm happy to open any of these results and all the different cases that we've applied this. We've applied this to multiple cases, but just to highlight one. So 500 times decision-making speed. How on earth we are capable of getting that? Vesa here is my customer. Vesa is the guy right here. Vesa, in traditional projects, he goes to those projects every 2 weeks, he gives 3 opinions and goes away, and comes back every 2 weeks. The decision speed, 3 decisions every 2 weeks. In here, because we are doing this in AI-assisted way, he does decision every 5 minutes, or 15 minutes. Whenever we need a decision, the decision is made. You do the math, you get 500, or you actually get much more. But because we are from Tampere and we are from Finland, we need to be humble, so 500. So this is the whole value stream. We are working end to end together and getting stuff done. It's kind of fast. And if you don't have this, if you just do your agentic development without this, you get a bottleneck. You get a queue. Don't do that. Okay. This is how Tesla actually manages these 50,000 people. There's 2 points that I want to take out of this. First, there's no product owners, there's no managers. Data is your boss. Once again, this is where the billions go. So, in order to these people and these teams to be capable of making decisions themselves, they need to have full transparency to all the data. Joe is there showing a Miro board of a picture of that type of board that they have in Tesla. There's a YouTube video if you're curious about all this stuff, but this is how do they manage. This is how they steer 50,000 people every day. And same goes for SpaceX and all those. Now, you may think of Agentic CollabAI. Now, this is what we are trying out now, because I said that we just were AI assisted. So now we're trying to move agentic. So it's like we coordinate, the team coordinates a specialized agent, and we have an orchestrating AI as a way of orchestrating the agents. But I'm not going to go deep into this, but you get a picture of, okay, this is how it works in agentic world. And I already explained that they have gazillions of dollars, but this is interesting that we actually have these capabilities, all of us, not we in Solita, all of you, have these technical capabilities of starting this, trying this out. And that's why, if you want to experiment, this is your recipe, 1, 2, 3, and there's a book that I'm gonna publish in 2 weeks. That will actually share all the learnings, all the details, everything that we learned doing this for 2 years. Or sorry, 9 months, but 2 years ago, and continue from there. And I'm happy to share the other customerships and whatever you want to later ask about. But I think the important message is here that if you want to really work in AI-first fashion, you need to change your way of collaborating across your company, no matter if it's small or big. And that's where I leave you, and I guess there's something else coming up. Hey, thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Marko. How's the timing? Like, should we start the panel soon, or
Okay, I have a couple of questions for Mark first.
Maybe we'll take a couple
Yeah,
of questions.
I'm up for it.
Hey, thanks for these insights. I think SpaceX definitely is pushing the boundaries in every front, so it's a good example. Do you have any examples from Europe that have been able to achieve this?
So I just got today permission to share that we've done this with DNA, the teleoperator, and we were capable of cutting down their business development time from 6 to, on average it's 6 to 9 months to come up with new concept and test it out with the market. We were doing that in 5 days. So that's the result that I got to share today.
Yeah, I hope that all of you guys are thinking on how you can turn months into minutes, like in your work. That's what I do every day on my work. So let's leave it at that, and let's welcome now the panel.